Hi there, welcome to Nappy Invest. So today I'm going to talk about PolyNovo. I think this is the first time I've talked about this company. They've been a market darling for the last few years. I'm actually a big fan of this company just because of what they do, and I'll talk about what they do in a second or so. But the last few days I've noticed that share price has taken a fair big hit. In fact, the last 5 trading days, the share price has fallen 25%. And today they released a trading update. The market did not like it, and the share price fell another 13%. So I'll talk about why that happened, what was in the trading update that got the market concerned. But first of all, I'm just going to talk about PolyNovo and why I like this company. Now, they were spun out of CSIRO in response to the need to be able to treat burn victims or burn wounds more effectively and safely. Now, in my research on another company a few years ago, if I remember correctly, it's been about 50 years since we've had an advancement in the treatment of burn wounds, or significant advancement. And right now we do have numerous countries or companies in the world, a few on the ASX in fact, who are in the field of trying to improve the way we treat burn wounds. If you ever get a burn wound or significant burn wound, it's quite horrible the way they treat it. They take a big slab of skin off your body and use that. So they actually create to fix one wound, they actually have to create another wound to fix your burn wound. So all these companies are trying to fix the way we treat burn wounds, and you have to be impressed with that. You have to think that's good for humanity, good for society, and that's the main reason I like PolyNovo. Now, the main product they have is NovoSor BTM, and BTM stands for Biodegradable Temporizing Matrix. It's a synthetic polymer with no biologic materials, and it's used to treat burn wounds. And the no biologic material is quite important because bacteria love biological material to feed. So if you treat a burn wound with synthetic material, you're denying that bacteria the chance to feed off any sort of biological material, and so the bacteria doesn't have the chance to multiply, to thrive, that sort of thing. So I think that's the main advantage of this, and it also has other applications. So they have something like 44 IP things. So they have a lot of areas to expand their business. So this is the main one they have now, and a lot of areas to expand in the future. Now, they do have money coming in the door. So they do have revenue of $22 million in the last financial year. That was increasing 55% on the previous corresponding period. So they are improving their revenue, so increasing the revenue. That's the main thing I really look for. So revenue of 22 million. They are not quite operating cash flow positive, so only operating cash flow negative to the tune of 400,000. So they're very nearly there. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised to see in the next financial year they do become operating cash flow positive, and they really want to be operating cash flow positive, and they really want to be increasing the revenue because what I'll show you on the next slide, and that's just the valuation. So they have 661 million shares on issue. Now the share price is around $3. I think it closed today on the 12th of January. It closed at about $2.95. So if you just times the 661 by $3, you get a market cap roughly about $2 billion. So that's quite high for a company that has revenue of 22 million and is not operating cash flow positive, not profitable. So that actually equals to a price of sales of 100. And in anyone's book, that is high. So the market is expecting massive, huge growth in the next decade in PolyNovo. And I can't rule that out because what they have is quite impressive. It's an improvement in the field. It's world leading. And that sort of growth that the market is expecting really could happen. Now, this is their trading update, and this is why the share price fell 13% today. So they did mention some numbers. They talked about US sales, but the main thing was the difference between the growth in Q1 compared to growth in Q2. So in Q1, growth was 70%. And then Q2 growth was only 16%. So I think the market saw that slowdown in growth and went, oh my God, I am going to sell out. Overall, throughout the whole world, their growth was up 31% for the first half of this financial year. Now, there were some actually bullish things in this report. For instance, their expansion throughout the world. They are FDA approved, so I think they are approved in a lot of countries. So entering new markets in Greece, Belgium, Netherlands, Luxembourg, which is a massive market. I'm kidding, because Luxembourg doesn't have that much population. Sweden, Finland, and Taiwan. So they're expanding throughout the world. That's what you want a company to do, is expand or be a global business. Now, they did mention also that they had slower than expected sales in October and November, but strong December sales exceeded budget. So it looks like things have turned around in December, which is probably good news as we go into quarter three. And probably the expectations are that quarter three numbers or growth rate will be substantially higher than the 16% we saw in the previous quarter. So next thing I'm going to look at is the chart. So this is the 1 year daily chart. And this doesn't show you the growth if you go back 3 or 5 years. I think something like 5 years ago, the share price was 5 cents. And now we have seen the share price get as high as $4. Now, the share price from around about May to October was flat. But in early October, mid-October, we did see a bit of a breakout around about $2.30 or so. And we saw the share price go from $2.30 all the way up to $4 on, in a few months. So really good returns for shareholders then. But in the last few weeks, we've seen a bit of a turnaround in the story. And I'll just go to the next slide, because I'll just zoom in on that last 3 months of the chart. So this is the last 3 months of the charts, the daily chart here, and we definitely see sort of this turning around of the story. Now, we saw that definitely beautiful uptrend going from the top or bottom left to the top right. And then once we get into towards the end of December, we see the share price just level off. Found it really hard to break through $4. And this is more proof that round numbers are natural levels of support or resistance, or based off psychology. It's just the average person saying, I'm going to sell when it gets to $4, or I'm going to buy when it gets to $4, that sort of thing. So if you ever see this, I see this all the time when a share price struggles to move through a round number. Now, in the last few weeks, especially the last 5 trading days, the share price has just taken a dive. Now, the first thought that came to my mind was loose lips. Is there a bit of a sieve in the company? So this information of the trading update got out somehow, and that's why people were selling in the last 4 trading days, not including today. But we have seen the share price now go to about $3. In fact, closing today it was $2.95. So it has dropped from $4 to $2.95 in fairly quick fashion. And usually when that happens, there always is going to be some sort of bounce. But today we saw a big drop, 13% share price drop on fairly large volume, and that's always bearish. So at this point in time, I'll stay out of PolyNovo. I am fairly bullish on this company, but I still think the valuations are quite high. They still have to justify that valuation. And even though I think the company could grow quite substantially, I think there's a little bit of risk here at the moment. I would love to see the share price drop to 50 cents. That would be automatic buy. I doubt it's going to get that low. Anyway, that's all I've got on this PolyNovo trading update. Share price dropping a massive 13%. If you have any questions, leave it in the comment section. Otherwise, I'm not a financial advisor. So if you do need any financial advice, make sure you seek out a financial advisor who can speak to your own financial circumstances and make sure they are qualified. That's one of the most important things. Have a good day. I'll talk to you later. Bye.